Imagine standing inside the most powerful civilization on Earth, convinced nothing could ever threaten its dominance. This moment of absolute confidence is historically when empires quietly begin collapsing from within. In my opinion, arrogance disguised as stability is the most dangerous phase any system enters. People assume empires fall because of wars, but wars usually arrive after collapse already begins. Rome did not fall suddenly. It dissolved slowly through economic decisions repeated for generations. Most Roman citizens believed their empire was eternal, protected by scale, power, and tradition. That belief itself became the blindfold that prevented them from seeing reality. Rome's strength originally came from discipline, restraint, and respect for long-term consequences. Early Roman society rewarded productivity, responsibility, and sacrifice over comfort. Their monetary system reflected those values through real silver-based currency. When someone held a Roman coin, they held undeniable intrinsic value. This sound money encouraged saving, planning, and genuine economic growth. Stable money allowed Rome to build roads, aqueducts, armies, and global trade networks. But success changed incentives, and incentives change behavior faster than people realize. As Rome expanded, leaders shifted focus from production toward consumption and political popularity. Maintaining a massive empire required enormous and growing financial resources. Soldiers needed wages, infrastructure needed maintenance, and urban populations needed appeasement. This is where the famous bread and circuses entered Roman policy. Free food and endless entertainment replaced responsibility and civic engagement. Eventually, expenses exceeded income, and Rome faced persistent budget deficits. Leaders then faced a choice between painful honesty or convenient deception. Cutting spending angered citizens, while raising taxes angered elites. So emperors chose the easiest option, manipulating the currency. Emperor Nero began quietly reducing silver content inside Roman coins. The coins looked identical, but carried less real value. This was ancient money printing disguised as normal governance. At first, people barely noticed, and life continued normally. Subsequent emperors copied the tactic whenever money ran short. Over time, silver content dropped from nearly pure to almost non-existent. Rome had discovered how to steal purchasing power without public resistance. But economics always enforces consequences eventually. Merchants realized the coins were losing value. Soldiers realized their wages bought less survival. Prices exploded as trust in money collapsed. Something once affordable suddenly required massive quantities of currency. Savings built over lifetimes evaporated almost overnight. The middle class was effectively erased. The government responded with price controls and harsh penalties. Those policies backfired, creating shortages and black markets. Trade slowed as trust disappeared from economic relationships. Soldiers abandoned posts because worthless money wasn't worth dying for. Rome became weak long before enemies breached its borders. Invaders entered an empire already hollowed out internally. The collapse was financial before it was military. Now shift that historical mirror toward modern America. The United States also began with hard money discipline. The dollar was once tied directly to gold reserves. That constraint helped build the greatest industrial economy ever created. After global victory, America expanded influence worldwide. Military commitments grew while domestic spending exploded. Politicians promised benefits without acknowledging financial limits. Eventually, reality forced a familiar decision. In 1971, the dollar was detached from gold. Money became trust-based instead of asset-backed. Unlike Rome, we can now create money instantly. Trillions appear digitally without physical limitations. What took Rome centuries is happening within decades. National debt grows faster than public understanding. Inflation quietly erodes purchasing power year after year. People feel it through groceries, housing, and shrinking savings. Officials minimize inflation, just like Roman leaders denied debasement. Meanwhile, inequality widens as money creation favors insiders first. Social division intensifies while distractions multiply. Entertainment replaces awareness. Comfort replaces resilience. Dependency grows, making reform politically impossible. History shows empires follow predictable life cycles. The average lifespan of dominance approaches 2.5 centuries. The United States is approaching that historical threshold. That does not mean instant collapse, but accelerating instability. Collapse is usually a process, not an event. Rome did not vanish. Life simply became harsher and unstable. Those dependent on the system suffered most. Those holding real value adapted and survived. This isn't about fear, but awareness. Trust is the foundation of every economic system. When money loses trust, everything connected to it weakens. Debasement always destroys social contracts. The pattern repeats because human behavior never changes. Assuming permanence is the final mistake empires make. Stability feels strongest right before it breaks. Preparation begins with understanding history honestly. Ignoring warning signs doesn't prevent consequences. Economic reality always reasserts itself. The transition may be slow, then sudden. Awareness offers options ignorance never will. History doesn't whisper. It warns loudly. The cycle cannot be stopped, only navigated. Seeing patterns early is a form of protection. Empires fall quietly before collapsing loudly. If this helped you understand the pattern, subscribe and stay prepared.